and we will get on to Baleba now. We've had updates from Fabrizio Romano today on YouTube, guys, about Baleba. He says Manchester United plan for new talks for Baleba in the coming days. Man United believe Baleba is keen on the move and personal terms won't be an issue. Contacts follow on Brighton's side as deal remains very difficult, but United will try. And look, all of the signs, and I said this last week, all of the signs are pointing towards Manchester United really, really going for Baleba. And look, we'll get on to what Laurie Whitwell said later in the show about, the credit card limit has been extended a little bit, and maybe that's where the money is coming from. But also it goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. By the looks of things, Manchester United seem confident that they will get money in the door before the end of the transfer window for the Garnachos, for the Sanchos, for the Anthonys, maybe even a Malacia, who knows. And I think they are confident on it, and that confidence then allows them to go and really have an attempt at somebody like Baleba. Now, other reports, guys, from Fabrizio says in the next days, Man United are expected to try and understand the situation with Brighton regarding Baleba, and whether there is space to negotiate. Personal terms will not be an issue. And look, we heard last week that Brighton have £104 million price tag on his head, and a lot of people have been talking about the Caicedo deal and how Baleba obviously plays in the same position and similar player, and they expect him to go for similar money. I don't think that's going to be the case, to be honest with you. And the reason why I don't think we will pay as much, if we do get Baleba, that we will pay as much as Chelsea did for Caicedo, is that there was multiple clubs in for Caicedo at the time. And it looks like we're the only ones in for Baleba. And I think that obviously benefits us. Now, we saw last week that Manchester United have obviously approached his representatives through intermediaries. The days of tapping up players seem to be gone, or when you weren't allowed to tap up players seem to be gone. Seems you can just talk to anybody now by the looks of things. But so Manchester United are doing what they've done on previous signings, even this summer, Mbeumo was one, and then obviously Sesko as well, where we go to the player's representative first to understand and to announce to them our intention. We want you, and let us know what roughly you would like as a package in terms of salary, in terms of bonuses, in terms of signing on fees, whatever the case may be. And it seems like a deal was done relatively quick. Now, it's not a deal until, the player decides to sign and we agree a fee. But personal terms seem to have been agreed relatively quick. And what that does then, and we've seen this with Sesko, and Sesko is a massive example here because Newcastle, and Man United are not stupid enough to do this, and Newcastle were bidding against themselves for Sesko. They went in for a bid for Sesko, and then they heard Manchester United were interested. And without the first bid even being rejected, they went in with a higher bid. And then that was accepted. So they were bidding against themselves. And Man United just went, all right, hold on. We're going to go and talk to the player here. And if we go to talk to the player and we get the impression from him that he only wants us, then it will allow us to go in and lower the negotiation offer, where you can, and we got Sesko cheaper than what Newcastle were bidding. You know what I mean? Because the player wanted us. Similarly, with Baleba, Manchester United have gone to him and they've gone to his representatives and they said, look, we want you, you are the future of our central midfield. And that in turn will make him say, right, okay, I'm not pushing for a move, but if you can negotiate, I'd be happy to sign. Or it will mean he goes to the club and go, look, Man United are here. They might not come back. I want to leave. And then Brighton are forced to lower their valuation a little bit and United can come in. I reckon we could get Baleba for 70 to 80 million pounds, that is now. So you're talking probably about 100 million euros, but I think 70 or 80 million pounds, I think we could genuinely get Baleba. And again, if you're talking about structuring that deal in a way that benefits Manchester United, you're talking about, are you doing, I think Man United, I think the personal terms that were agreed were like a 5-year deal plus one with the option of a further year, which United do an awful lot. I mean, if that's the case, and Brighton were happy to break down, your payments, let's say over 4 years, I mean, that's 20 million every summer. Now, the one thing I would say is that Man United are gambling. They are gambling, okay? And I think this is what Ineos have, and I'd say in conjunction with Ruben Amram, and I think Ruben Amram is probably happy that this is happening. We're gambling now rather than a slow build. We go, well, look, if Baleba stays for another year, we'd be back in for him next year anyway. Let's try and get him now before there's not a whole heap of competition next summer if he has another good season. So let's go get him now, and let's gamble that he does be a success, and we've got him. And it remains to be seen whether that is a smart tactic or not. Because if you go and buy a Baleba, you buy a Sesko, and you max out the credit card, for example, and it doesn't work out, you're still going to be paying off them installments every year for the next 3 or 4 years and not having good players at your club. So I think Manchester United have identified serious Premier League proven talents in Mbeumo, Cunha, and now Baleba, and that's the ploy. They're going, right, well, we're going to get them now. We're going all out. We're going to try and, bulk up the squad now, especially when you've only got one game a week, and get back into the Champions League next season. And you get back into the Champions League, you get, 150, 200 million, whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden the books are balanced. You can reinvest next year then as well, and so on and so forth. But if this doesn't work out, if we go out and spend a load of money on Baleba after getting Cunha, Sesko and Mbeumo, and then maybe a goalkeeper as well, and we don't get Champions League football next year, and we finish outside of Europe completely, then it's an absolute disaster, and it's a nightmare. But I think when you're signing players like Baleba, I think ultimately, and Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko, I think ultimately you're giving yourself the best opportunity possible to get into the Champions League spots. I really do believe it. Now, let's see what you're saying in the chat here. Let me just take a drink of water. Smash a like on the video as well, by the way, guys. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. On the road to 15,000 subscribers. Do smash that like button for us as well. It helps out the channel an awful lot. Take a second. 17 likes out of 190 people that have watched. So take a second and hit that like button for me. Now, D says, look at the names on those shirts behind you. Immortalised in red. Forever they will be. Let him leave. Take 40 million for him now, and he will never be up to the stature of our badge. That's in relation to Garnacho. Yeah, and you make a great point, D. 100%. He also says, look at Baleba coming in. It's promising. And talk of Gigi coming in too for pennies. If you have told every one of us this afternoon that Europa League final, if you had told every one of us that afternoon of the Europa League final that we'd have Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko, etc., we'd have took the arm off you. 100%, absolutely 100%. You do have to give credit here to Ineos on how they've moved this summer. Wilcox, Barada, Vivel. I call him Vivel. I'm going to continue to call him Vivel because Vivel, yeah. They've moved really, really well this summer. Getting Cunha over the line instantly as soon as the window opened was fantastic. Obviously, the Mbeumo deal dragged on, but since then, we actually closed out. Once the Mbeumo deal went in and we committed to it, we actually closed it out in a matter of days. We done the same thing with Sesko. I think it was 4 days from when the bid went in to, I think, him being unveiled at Old Trafford. So it was really, really fast. And I think something similar with Baleba could potentially happen. I think it's more realistic that we see Baleba come towards the end of the window. And, you know, he's not here for the first couple of games. And that would be okay. When you're signing somebody of his quality, you know, you've got to just make sure that you're getting his signature. And that's it. You know what I mean?